big set, where them hands, where them holes, where them throws, you know what I'm saying? Cecil.
All right, one thing I was talking about is in terms of the no touch stuff, people on both sides of the no touch argument are in a way actually saying a lot of the same thing and they just don't know it.
That's true.
Have you ever seen anybody say that they would use the no touch knockouts as a primary in defending themselves?
I've heard people say that if they knew how to do it.
But have anybody that we've talked to in person?
No. But not on I've talked to people online and said if they knew how to do that, they would use it in self defense. But they don't believe it's real, so they're not going to even try.
Yeah, but we've gone to people who are pretty much the foremost touch point people. I'm not going to name drop. And have any of them said to do this when somebody's coming at you trying to swing a bat at your head?
No.
And you never heard it, right?
No.
You never heard that. Neither have I.
No.
Why do you practice it then, do you think?
I think it's good for like a backup plan, and then in case you have to use it, or it's like if you get so good at it, one day you'll be able to use it in a street fight, in combat, or in a self-defense situation. I don't think you should start off trying to do that. Even if your first 20 years of training, I don't think you should try to use, for example, Jiu-Jitsu as a primary form of self-defense. So you learn the black belt of forms. When you got the black belt, something you can fight with your hands and feet and shoot a gun and then use that as a backup.
I mean, let me see something for a second. I don't think the audio. Yep, I was wrong. The audio was fine. So anyway, so why I think you practice it is that you're practicing on your intent. So if you can, like, here's an example I've seen in different literature.
Yeah.
If you can get your ki, your force, to the point to where you can knock out a small bird with it. Okay, you can make a bird fall down with your shout or with your energy. If you combine that with actually hitting somebody,
You're gonna kill them.
right, they're out of here.
Right.
You're gonna knock them out. If you just rely on the shout by itself, you may or may not knock somebody out.
Right.
And I said this in a video I did earlier today. I did a live video before class. A perfect example of that that's non-martial arts related is you can scare someone with a weak heart
Right.
and make them have a heart attack if you
Right.
startle them. Or if they had, even if they had asthma, they can have an asthma attack or heart attack if their body's weak enough and they're in a bad condition.
Right.
You can knock them out. If you just hit somebody, let's say just hitting someone, just punch them. If you don't really put anything into the punch, it's going to be a terrible punch. Intent isn't just energy, it's focus. If you are not looking at where you're hitting, your
Right.
body angle is going to be off and you're not going to be putting the full amount of physical force into the punch because you're not aligned properly. If you're looking at it properly and you just use your hands, you're not going to be hitting as hard as if you use your hands, your legs, you focus on it, and you twist your body into it. You're going to get more
Right.
power. And then if you do all that and you shout when you do it, you can release more energy. And then if you're doing all that and you have your shout and your life energy into it too, you're going to hit even harder. And then if you can do all that and you hit in the right spot, that's a structural weak point or a pressure point on the body, you do even more damage. You can kill someone.
So it's basically like pieces to a puzzle.
Right. And you're practicing each piece at a time. Everybody's getting hung up on their piece. I like that you said piece of the puzzle. I think everybody's getting hung up on their piece. Now, at the same time, like I've seen, see, this is the thing, because I've seen, I don't want to name drop in this video, but I've seen a guy, if you know anything about esoteric martial arts, you're going to know who I'm talking about. I've never met this guy, and I have nothing against this guy. In fact, I really wish I could meet this guy. I'm going to say it so I can make it happen. Because when I said I wish I could train with Fort Mason, that I said I wasn't going to name drop. And don't, I said I wasn't going to name drop. When I said I wish I could train with them and with Sterling, I'm doing it again. When I said I wish I could train with them, I really wish it happened. So now I'm going to say it. I wish I could train with that guy who can point energy out of his cane and aim it at people, and he gets a reaction.
Hmm.
Now, does he do that as his primary form of self defense? I don't know. Because I never met him, but it looks like from what I read about him that he otherwise knew how to defend himself. He knows how to defend himself physically. So that as you advance on in years and you just can't get the body to do like it did at 21, you can still do something. So there's something going on. I would say in order for your I don't even want to say empty hand.
Your traditional martial arts.
No, it's not traditional martial arts. I'm not even going after that. In order for your empty force techniques, we'll just say energy. If you're going to be doing energy techniques on people, or invisible techniques on people, non-contact techniques on people, for it to be effective in self-defense, as a primary, you'd have to be able to do it like you're a Jedi in Star Wars. That's the only way on anybody at will, and that would be the only way people would see it as a viable self-defense alternative, a self-defense weapon.
Right.
So you can just wave your hand and throw it at people. But I have yet to meet anyone who has at least told me that they can do that just at will. Now, that's not to say that at the same time, you still got to be careful playing with this stuff because, I mean, I've heard stories of people that they've done the no touch knockout stuff on them, or they've done the kiosk shouts and they fall out. And they've had to been in bed for a week or up to a month. So something's going on. Right. Something's going on. And what we think of, like some people will say oh, pressure points don't work. That's bull. That's crap. And then those same people in another discussion will turn around and start talking about, yeah, well, if you want to knock somebody out, to hit him on the side of the jaw. That's a pressure point. Right. They'll say pressure points don't work and then turn right around. But if it's a boxing and it's weak parts in the body that the coach is telling you to hit, that's the same thing because it's just anatomy. It is anatomy and it's playing with the body's electricity. It's playing with the nerves in the body and it's playing with anatomy. Just because they use elemental nomenclature, because the paradigm that they're using is from an Eastern medical perspective, that still doesn't make it not anatomy. It still works. Right. Or they found a way to put Taoist religious principles into it. That doesn't make it a religion. That's just their cultural frame of reference for that type of movement, for that type of energy, that type of observation. Yeah, that's true. And even if you look at a lot of George Dillman's books, he has the Western medical explanation, the Eastern medical explanation for how to aggravate the points. And yet that's still not enough for some of these people to look at it and go, well, wow, that's something I can add to my thing, because everybody's caught up on their thing. They're too caught up. The people who believe in primary physical, they're too caught up on physical and conditioning and being a competitor, and the only legit fighting that you have is if you're doing it in a ring. And that's another thing. Is it that this stuff, when we're saying this stuff doesn't work in self-defense, are we saying that your empty force techniques don't work to ever protect yourself, or are we saying it doesn't work in the ring? Because, for example, if I know I got my kiosk shouts to a point to where I could startle somebody that's got weak lungs, or I know I can definitely hit people on the pressure points to where if you have weak lungs, you ain't going to be able to breathe if you mess with me. I feel confident enough in that. I mean, you can just punch somebody in the diaphragm and if they ain't got good lungs. But see, that's the pressure point too. That's the pressure point. Right. That they're going to have a hard time breathing. So what if you're attacked by somebody with weak lungs? Like people who like to smoke all the time. Yeah. Yep. And some of them can be violent. And then if you could do an empty force, a technique on them and startle them or knock them down so that you don't have to actually hit them, isn't that better? Isn't that better? It'd be better for you legally if you yeah and you knock somebody down and they fall out or something when they were trying to stab you or punch you in the face. Even if they're not trying to stab you, they're trying to punch you in the face. And then the cops say, "Well, what'd you do to this guy?" Like, hey, I just shouted at him, and he fell down. Maybe got weak. I don't know, but he was trying to hurt me. And that's another reason why, too, why I put together what I put together with Taekwondo and Judo. You know, what do I always say about that?
Right. You combine them both to complement each other. Because if someone can strike and you want someone that can strike better than you can throw them. Well, if you are striking them, you don't want to hurt them. You can use your judo to hold them down and get them to calm down if it's a level.
Right. You can use Judo to defuse, but you can also slam somebody with some Judo, too, if you got
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. So you have options.
Right.
Instead of striking all the time or grappling all the time.
Right.
You can do either or.
Right. And then if you got the pressure points in there, those really make a difference. Like when we were grappling last week, that's the only way I got out of when you were on top of me. I had to use the pressure point because you're too damn strong. You half my age. You are literally half my age now.
Yeah.
You half my age and you are twice as strong as I am. I can't wrestle with you no more and stand a chance. Not just based on physical and not necessarily based on technique for technique. Because you're too close to your prime. So I had to only what did I do? I aggravated a pressure point on the arm to get you to let go and I got out of it. That's the only thing I could do. That's what it's for. So everybody is too caught up, in my opinion, on their aspects instead of learning the other aspects. So, but you said you said there were some people that were online who were saying they can actually do it like a Jedi push.
Well, I've heard two things. I heard people saying they can't do it. They can use pressure points, but they can't use it in a fight, so they're not going to pressure anymore. But they got kind of high up and they learn how to fight with the pressure points, but they can't do it right away, so they're not going to do it. And I've heard people say they can do it. I've seen people. I saw a guy on YouTube once, two younger guys did like a force push to the diaphragm, and he pushed each other back. But it wasn't great, but it was enough. They had to build it up and then do it.
Mm-hmm.
It took them about 3 minutes to build it up, and they could lightly push each other with their chi.
Oh, okay. So there's something there, but you know, if it takes you 3 minutes to charge up like Dragon Ball Z Kamehameha, you gonna I was gonna get start cussing.
You gonna get shot.
Yeah, some fool is gonna. Well, I'll say some fool gonna go upside your head in that amount of time. So, but then again, if you can stand there, if somebody's mouthing off at you,
Right.
but they're trying to work up the courage, and you got time to power up, and then they come at you, and then you push them back, you may intimidate them, or you may do more. But if you, like I was saying, if you can build up that kind of energy, and then you combined it with hitting some, a peak, then you combine it with something, man,
They're going down.
yeah, they're going down.
I think the martial arts and their pressure points and the forms and the taekwondo and the karate and the judo and the wrestling and the boxing and the weapons and the guns and the bombs. I think it all part of the same thing.
Yeah. It's all part of that. The civilians need, see, I always say I'm training for civilians. I don't even like necessarily saying anymore I'm doing the martial arts. But I don't put that as first thing because then, you know, I'm just sounds like I'm getting weird and off in left field. But it's not for war. What I'm doing is for peacetime. I wish we could call it the civilian arts because we civilians don't necessarily have authority to do lethal force, but yet we could still end up facing a lethal force threat as civilians, even though that's not what we do day to day if we're not criminals. So we have to have options to respond. We can't just go from zero to kill. Now, if you're in a war zone, you're not a civilian anymore. You're a soldier. You can go from zero to kill because people are trying to kill you. And that's another thing, too. People move differently when they're actually trying to hurt you than when they're trying to do something that's ring fighting. So maybe that's what it is. People got to decide whether what they're doing is ring fighting, whether what they're doing is self-defense, whether you're trying to use an empty alternative to using physical force on somebody, or even if you're just doing it for help. Because, a lot of people that say Tai Chi is not combatively effective, which is not true. If you know what you're doing with the moves, you can use it. But what's wrong with doing it for health?
Yeah.
What's wrong with doing it because it's relaxing? And if you can build up your timing and your muscular frame, that will help you in defending yourself too. And I mean, I saw a friend of mine use Tai Chi to protect himself. Somebody tried to grab him. He did the move right out of the Tai Chi form. I saw him practice every morning because we were housemates for a while. So shout yourself out, Billy. I saw somebody try to grab him. He did that little loop around thing, went right behind the guy, kept going. Guy went off balance. Billy didn't even really touch him. Oh, your battery's running low. Anyway, so thanks for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. And please share this with people who like to talk about the martial arts. And peace. And thank you for your time.
Where them chicks